Hello, I'm Seerath, and today I'm here to discuss that how can we store something in data layer, like how can we create tags and triggers to store something in data layer, and we will also review the data layer to see that if it is working or not. So first, let's go to preview and understand what actually is data layer. So if we go back here and we click here, so this is our data layer and it is showing us the summary data layer. But if we go to each event, data layer is different here. And if we go to initialization, it will be different. If we go to container loaded, it's different. If we go to DOM ready, so we see a certain key value pairs are added. So what exactly is a key value pair? So this is a key and this is its value. Now, if we go to window loaded, we see that event name is changing. If you go to DOM ready, it was gtm.dom, but in window loaded, it is gtm.load. Now, we can see that as we keep going, as the events keep happening, the data keeps changing. Now, if we go to scroll depth, we see that more data is added. Like in window loaded, it was not there, but inside scroll depth, it is there. That scroll threshold is 10, scroll units is percentage, scroll direction is vertical, triggers is this. So information keeps getting added to the data layer as we keep going. Now the question arises that how can we store the data inside the data layer? This is automatically being stored, right? How can we store something that we want to? So first of all, let's go to our preview mode and see something. So this is our preview mode. And let's say that I want to store data in the data layer when these tag buttons are clicked. Now this button is basically redirecting us back to the page because it's just adding a hash. But we want to add data to the data layer when this is clicked. Now we'll go here and see that link click and see the variables. Here, it shows us that click text is this. So if now we go to GTM, go to tags and create a new tag. In the tag configuration, we will select custom HTML because we want to edit something. We want to push something inside the data layer. So we are going to write our own thing here. First, let's start with the script tag. Now, when we were using Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel, we were getting that script tag from those platforms, but here we are creating our own. So we'll write script. Now, inside this, we want to push because if we go here, we see that data layer is already there, right? We just want to add something to it. So what will we say? We will say push. Where do we want to push it? We want to push it inside data layer. Now, this is a very important point. Data layer, this is case sensitive. If we will write the small l, this will not work. Now, where is data layer? Data layer is inside window. So we simply write window dot data layer dot push. That means just add the particular thing that we are going to write here. Okay. So now here we can add key value pairs. We already discussed that these are the key value pairs. This is the key and this is the value. It is undefined for this particular one, but if we see here, scroll threshold and 75. Now we will go here and write clicked value. Okay. And now, what do we want to add we want to add the value for this button, right? So this is the button that we want to add. We'll copy this from here and paste it here. So basically, we want to reflect in our data layer that this was the button that was clicked. So for doing that, we have just copied its text and we are pushing it inside the data layer. Now, what are we going to do? We will just select a trigger. When do we want to do this? So we'll create a new trigger, just links. Here we will select some link clicks and we will write that click text contains this. Now, if we want, we can go ahead and add click URL contains and a particular URL that we want. But in the case, it is just directing back to the home. So we will not add this. But if our case suggests, we can add something here and that will be also considered as a condition, right? We'll minus this. So we want the trigger to be when the click text is equals to this. So let's name it text1 trigger and save it. Come back here. Text1 tag. Now let's save it. Let's go ahead and see what we just did. We created a tag, which was a custom HTML tag. We inserted our own script through which we pushed this name value pair, like key pair inside the data layer. We are doing this when the trigger suggests that the click text is the particular value that we want. So let's go to the preview mode and test it, that whether this is working or not. Okay. So now, if I open this, go to my button and click it, see, this was the click, right? Because in variables, if we go and see, in variables, if we go and see, we see click text. So this was our click that we wanted to add to the data layer. Now we see that we have a message here. Now, if we click it and then we go to data layer, see, clicked value is added. Now, if we go like a step back and see here, this value is not there, but after this message, this value will remain. So this is how we can add something to our data layer. Now let's say that we want to do it for another button right there, like another tag, this one. So we click this, and one thing to notice is that this value is still here. Even if we are doing anything after that, the value still remains. Now let's go to the variables and copy its click text. Now let's go to tag manager and we pretty much want to do the same thing. So let's create a copy. We will name it as text2 tag and clicked value will be different for this case because this is another button that we are tracking. It will be this. Now we go to trigger and change this accordingly as well, because right now the trigger is only firing on this particular text and we want to change it. So let's create a copy of this as well. Text. Right? And here we will change this. So basically, this just changes the firing, like the tag will be fired when the click text will contain this. Now we'll save and this all looks fine, like the script is changed, and we'll hit save again. Now we have text1 tag and text2 tag. So let's close this once, preview it. Let's do some clicks here. We click this first. Now let's see. We got a message. Yeah. Just a second. Why is it showing both the values? Let's refresh it once. Click this. Come back. Click this. Must have done something wrong here. Yeah. See, so I have just selected the wrong trigger here. So what do we have to do? Both the triggers are selected here. So we'll just have to delete this one. Yeah. Now let's reload our preview mode. Click this. Yeah, it's showing only one message now. We just made a small mistake here, like we created both the triggers, but like we added both the triggers. So we should be very careful while creating copies so that this should not happen. And if we see in the message now, the data layer variable show this text. And if we go back and we just close this because this is not active right now. This one is active. We click this one, then the text in the data layer will be updated. See, this is updated. And if I once again go back and click the previous button again, now this will keeps on updating as and when we click. Now here, you can see that it is updated again. Now, what if we do not want to create like two separate tags for this, right? We just want a single tag. So what can we do? We can go inside the script and instead of hard coding the value, we can simply say click text. So now this will replace it. And in the trigger, you go and edit and add the text to trigger as well. So for both the triggers, we want to fire this particular tag because we have customized it in a more broader prospect now. We are not hard coding the value. We are getting the value from the variable click text. Now just change the name. Let's change the name and make it more relatable text variable because it is referring to both the text. We will save it and let's just delete this one. Yeah. So now we only have one tag and two triggers. Let's go and test this out. This website is connected. You click down, click here, come back, see the data layer. it is still getting pushed to the data layer. So we just read the value from a variable click text and pushed it into the data layer. Now, if I go and test it on the other button, we will see that the value will get appended. We have a message. See, it is changed now. Now, if we see that this message is not something that is very, recognizable, like what is actually happening. So we can go back here and click here, and we can add an event. And we can call this event something that would help us to identify what is actually happening. Let's say we say click, click text update. Okay. So now we save this. We go to the preview mode again. Yeah. So if we go back to this, and click here, let's do another click so that we can check them together. Now we see that instead of message, we are getting click text update. Now they are more identifiable to us, and we can simply click them and go to the data layer and see that, okay, our clicked value is appended. It works fine. Now we check for another click. Okay, it's getting changed. So this is how you can create a trigger and a tag and push the value into the data layer. Now let's say that while writing the code of the tag, we made a mistake. Like, let's remove this. So first of all, let's just save it and see. If we'll try to go to preview, right, it will give us a message. So this is something great that Google Tag Manager do for us. Like, it gives us a pop-up that, there is some error and just go and fix this. So you click done. Here, let's just add back whatever we removed, comma, hit save. Now it will let us go to the preview mode, and we have already tested all the things that we have done. So yeah, it's working now. And if we go back one last time, check it. Yes, this is working. We get click text update, and in the data layer, we get this value. Thank you.